In this video, we're going to compare the iPhone 15 with the Galaxy S24 to know which phone is best for you out. First, we talk about specs. The iPhone 15 have a 16 Bionic with the Apple GPU and a hexa-core processor. The iPhone 15 has 6 gigs of RAM, whereas S24 has a new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip with the Adreno 750 GPU and an octa-core processor on the S24, and both the phones start at 128 gigabytes and go all the way up to 512 gigabytes in the iPhone. We have 3,349 mAh battery, and the Samsung, we have 4,000 mAh battery. Both phones give you fast charging. The iPhone 15 have a Face ID for authentication. The S24 has under-display fingerprint scanner for authentication. Both the phone have IP68 water and dust resistance certification. Now let's move on to the camera comparison. The iPhone 15 has a 48 megapixel wide sensor. The S24 has a 50 megapixel wide sensor. Samsung is using AI for provide better image quality. Both the phones have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide sensor. On the S24, Samsung is giving a 10 megapixel telephoto lens on the iPhone 15. We also have a telephoto lens. Apple doesn't give any third camera or a third lens on the phone 15. The phone taking that 48 megapixel main sensor, cropping the image down, zooming it in, and giving you a 12 megapixel telephoto image. iPhone 15 record the 4K video at 60 FPS, and in the slow motion, iPhone record 240 frames per second. The S24 record 8K video up to 30 frames per second. The S24 record 1080p slow motion videos up to 960 frames per second at the front. Both the phones have the same setup. So they have a 12 megapixel wide sensor with 4K video up to 60 FPS. Now let's talk about the display. iPhone 15 has a 6.1-inch Super Retina XD OLED display with a resolution of 2556 x 1179, but the refresh rate is only 60 Hz. The S24 have a bigger 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display. You also get 120 Hz refresh rate and a resolution of 2340 by 1080. The S24 provide a better display overall, and you can definitely feel the difference when using a phone with a higher refresh rate. The iPhone 15 feels a bit slow. Now let's talk about the build, and this is where the SS24 is a bit different to its predecessor. So they have gone the iPhone way and made the phone a bit more squared off as opposed to that curved and rounded edges. So you have a flat back and a flat display, so it doesn't curve around like it did in the previous generation, giving you a better bezel up front and just a bigger display at least. It's 0.1 inch bigger, but it's a bigger display in the same form factor, and they also have some new colors. So the S24 Onyx Black, Marble Gray, Cobalt Violet, and an Amber Yellow. And there's also some Samsung exclusive colors online, and S24 starts at $799, whereas the iPhone 15 comes in black, green, blue, yellow, and pink, and also starts at $799. So both the phones have the same price track. So if you like video, give a thumbs up and subscribe.